Do you know that you can buy land and you fail to access it? You find your land is there, but you cannot reach it. There are fences around you. Now, that is when you commit a mistake that I'm going to tell you about as I continue on the land mistakes that you must avoid. This is Robert Beck Tumhaise from World of Inspiration Properties. We are based in Wandegea at Marika building at Obunuzi restaurant, and we deal in land and houses. So I have dedicated this whole month to educate you about the different land mistakes that you must avoid. Some of you watch me on YouTube. Please subscribe to my channel, Mr. Inspiration. On Facebook, still my name on Facebook is Mr. Inspiration. And now coming back to this mistake that I want to talk about today, that is not knowing how to interpret a land title. Some people are given photocopies of the land title and they buy and keep thinking they have taken an original title. There are several marks that are on an original title. For the sake of this video, I will tell you that if you have not yet had experience in knowing how an original title looks like, begin by talking to friends that have titles, friends that deal in land. Let them show you original land titles so that you can begin to get used. And if you're going to buy, you also have an option of going to the land office for verification. When you take them a land title, you're a buyer, you go with the seller, they can check and tell you this land title is genuine. And of course, I told you about how to do a land search so that you know that the title has no encumbrance, there is no obstacle why the owner should not transfer it to you. And now when you get a title, assuming it is an original title, there are certain things that you're supposed to check. Number one, you need to check the shape of the land. Is it a good shape? Is it a square? Is it a rectangle? Those are the best shapes, squares and rectangles. However, there are other shapes, like a triangle. If you have a triangle, it will be very difficult. You can have a compound which is in form of a V. So you need to look at the shape. And normally there is always a map in a land title. And then you need to look at the size. There is always a size and it is always written in hectares. There is always HA. So if you find like 0.047, you know that is a 50 by 100. So it is written in hectares, but you can convert it. For me personally, now I know how to convert sizes. I know that 25 decimals, that's a quarter of an acre. It is also the same as 100 by 100 standard. I know that 12.5 decimals, that is 50 by 100 standard. I know that half an acre is 50 decimals. With time, you also get used. But if you're not yet used, I encourage you to go on Google, type, for example, convert hectares to decimals. When you type in the hectares, it will give you the decimals. They are called the calculators. They are Google calculators, and they are free. So you're able to convert the land, but also it is important that on actual ground, you get to know how the sizes are. Someone can tell you, I have 8 decimals. In your mind, you need to know how big is 8 decimals. What kind of house can fit there? So I encourage you, you can go to people that know about land, you go with them, move around an acre, move around 10 acres, move around 50 by 100, 100 by 100, 50 decimals. Get to see how big it is. Otherwise, I have seen some people who just buy a plot. They say, what is the price? You say 15 million. They buy. They do not consider the size. Yet there is a plot which is 50 decimals, for example, and a plot which is 12.5 decimals. So they can't be the same size. So you need to have the sense of size in your mind. I've seen people who buy in Kampala, they buy land where they put a one bedroomed house and they can't even put a fence. They can't have a car park. They can't have an outside toilet because the land is too small. So it is important that you have a sense of size and also check it on the title. And then the other important thing to check on the title is the owner, who is they call them RP, registered proprietor. He's always on the title, the name and the address, PO box. These days they also put the NIN sometimes. So you need to know the name so that the person selling to you is the one on the title. And then there is also a page which has encumbrances. For example, if it has a mortgage, if a title has a loan, you'll find the loan written there. So always check. Don't buy when there is a loan and you're not aware, because it means the bank can come, or whoever gave the loan, if it was not fully cleared and somehow this person got the title, you can lose the land. And then the last thing, which is what I talked about as I introduced, is that you can buy land when you have no road. Please always check on the title. Is the road indicated? Because normally, if the land that is subdivided today, it must have a road that serves that plot. So don't buy land that does not have a road, because your neighbors can fence their land and then you have to beg them and you pay them a lot of money because you're at their mercy to be able to buy the road. I have many friends who have land that they cannot use because they do not have the roads, and the neighbors are not willing to sell to them the roads. So always avoid that by making sure that the land you're buying has a road on the title. Once it is there on the title, even if it is not there on the ground, you can always open it up, and when you bring your surveyor, anybody will always understand. Even if they were using that land and on the title it is a road, then you have a right to create that road. Thank you so much for listening, for watching wherever you are. I love you so much, and I will continue speaking to you every day about these land mistakes so that you can avoid them. Bye bye.